Greetings, everyone. Today, I want to share with you my understanding, my ideas, and opinions on the teachings of Jesus. Yes, so often our religion and our churches have an interpretation of Jesus' his teaching as if he was an external savior, a being separate from humanity, like a unique divine being. When we deeply explore Jesus on our own, however, we uncover a profound message, a profound teaching um, that he exposes, which is to speak of divinity in all of us. That's divinity which is not unique to him, but a divinity that was available to all human beings. Yeah, so we're going to take an exploration into his actual teaching to see exactly what his words were. And then I'll share my opinion and my understanding of these. All right. Um, is it that he was sacred, he was divine? Is that what he was saying? Or was he saying, listen, we human beings are sacred. We human beings are divine. We human beings are connected to a divinity. So let's explore. Let's dive into some of what he had to say. So if we look at Luke 17, verse 21, he's reported to have said, the kingdom of heaven is within us. What is he talking about? Right? He's inviting us not to look outside of us for this kingdom of heaven. He's inviting us to look inside. The divine presence, the divine essence of divinity is within you. Is all right. It's already there. It's not something outside. All right. So many of us, or many of our institutions, teach us to look outside ourselves for a savior, for enlightenment, for fulfillment, for salvation, right? So we look for religion outside of us, material wealth outside of us, all kind of different things we're looking for outside. But Jesus is saying, no, 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 it's inside of you. Um, and that is a very, very important teaching. Also, when we think of the kingdom of heaven, what do? We think of it in an infantile way. We think of kingdom in a materialistic way. Jesus was not talking about a materialistic heaven. Even when we think of heaven, we think of it in terms of material. You hear about milk and honey. Those are just 3D material things, as if we're going to be drinking milk or eating food in wherever we call heaven. Milk and honey are three-dimensional things that we need. In a three-dimensional way, we need three-dimensional things to survive, like food and water. We have to rest the body. And the way that we often think of mystical teachings or even heaven or all those things, we think of it in that same three-dimensional space and time reality, which is not necessarily so when we go to higher levels of frequency and vibration, right? And so we have to understand Jesus' teaching that he's not just talking about a 3D kingdom or a 3D world or space and time. He's talking about an infinite kind of awareness, right? So what he's talking about here is a oneness, a unity, something inside of us that we have to go in and experience. And the way to do that is by meditation, by contemplation, by inner stillness, by self-observation, by being in the moment, being present. Um, and that's what he's talking about by the kingdom. There's a stillness, a quietness inside of each one of us that when we transcend our mind and go beyond all the programming of our mind, there's something there, which when we connect with, Jesus is calling the kingdom of heaven or an entrance to that place, that beautiful place. And it's in every single one of us. Let's dive deeper into Jesus' teaching. And if we go to John 10:34, he is reported to have said, "Ye are gods." Now, why would Jesus say, "Ye are gods"? He's talking to us and he's saying, listen, you're all gods. What does he mean by that? By that, he doesn't mean that we are some separated deity, that we are some individual um, um, in a 3D dimensional way. He's talking about us being connected to the divine essence of the universe, right? And this is a boldly radical affirmation of human divinity, right? He puts referring to another verse from the Bible, Psalms 82, verse 6, in which the psalmist said, quote, "I have said, you are gods, and all of you are the children of the Most High." When you take those two verses together, if one really just sit down and meditate on these verses, and then one have to ask oneself, like, what's going on here? This is very different from the versions of the Bible that have been taught, but these are verses from the same Bible. Now they have tried to take out all of these kinds of sayings out of the Bible over the years, but if some way, either by mistake or oversight, they left these two verses in. So we have to understand too that the Bible that we are now reading, um, everything really pointing toward divinity was eliminated. But if you read deeply, you'll find a few verses that still contain some of the essential things that point to who we really are. All right. And these are not talking about Jesus claiming some exclusive divinity for himself. If we really look at these verses, he's saying, listen, humanity is divine. We're connected to divinity. And when we talk about divinity, we're talking about something that exists in all of us, in all of nature. Right. And again, if we really read this, it's not saying some people are divine and some are not. It's not saying Jesus is and the rest of us are not. It's saying you all are children of the Most High. You are gods, and we have to meditate on this and find out what is happening and what's going on here. Right? We are not just mere physical beings but divine expression of the infinite. That's my understanding of what these verses are saying and what Jesus is teaching, right? And the challenge is how do we attain this higher level of frequency and vibration? Because most of us don't express this. Most of us, all we know is our ego. That's all we know. And all we live by is the lowest frequency and vibration. Yes, to attain it, we have to do the work. We have to raise our frequency and vibration to really attain this. All right. Um, so we have to, all right. Now, if we go a little bit deeper and into Jesus's teaching, we are also going to see where he used the word, "I and my Father are one," and that's in John 10:30. I and my Father, or I am the Father, are one. What is he talking about, the Father? What is the Father? Again, the way Jesus used the word Father, or the way it has been translated to us, is not a physical, biological father, the way we know our Father. He's using Father as divine energy, as spirit. He's using the word Father as the universe, existence. I and existence are one. I and universal spirit are one. I and pure consciousness are one. And he could use those words if he wanted. He used my Father, and that's fine. But when we know, understand it, we understand it in an infantile way. We understand it in a three-dimensional way. We understand it as space and time. Like this is the person who gave his sperms to make me. That's not what Jesus is saying here. He's saying, I am one with the divine. He's talking about something more metaphysical. And we have to understand the concept of consciousness and divine consciousness, right? And understand that he's not talking about only me and the Father are one. He's saying we all on the Father are one, right? He's talking about unity and divinity. He's talking about transcending the illusion of the ego, the illusion of separation, the illusion of duality. And he's talking about oneness. We begin to act from love rather than fear, from wisdom rather than confusion. Now, if we go a little bit deeper into Jesus' teaching as well, we'll find that Jesus again is saying things like, "You shall do greater things than me," in John 14, verse 12. And this is the same thing. He said, "All that I have done, you can do, and you're going to be able to do greater stuff than me, whether it's walk on water, feed the sick, heal the sick." Once you connect with the divinity, he's saying, listen, all you have to do is raise your frequency and your vibration, connect with the divine, become a hollow bamboo, allow the divine to flow through you, and then you are able to do whatever it is and greater stuff that I have done. Align yourself with the divine essence. That is the essential teaching, right? Raise your frequency. He's not saying come every Saturday, every Sunday, every Monday, every Tuesday and worship me. That's not what he's saying. He's saying do the work to raise your own frequency and vibration and tap into the divine power, which is the essence of your life here on planet. You transform yourself and you can heal. You can, when you have the faith and the love and the divinity and the connection, it's all up to you. Again, another teaching of Jesus: without my Father, I can do nothing, which is also a beautiful teaching. Again, it is saying, align yourself with the divine, become humble and surrender to the divine, become a hollow bamboo, let the divine flow through you. Feel the power of divine. It's the divine essence in you. Stop being separated. Stop being the ego. Put it down and find the true power in the essence of your alignment with the divine essence in the universe. And this surrender is the most beautiful thing, because it comes in the moment. You don't need to hoard anything. You don't need to be a billionaire. You don't need to be the richest person in the world. What we need is the essence of surrender to the divine. Now, to go deeper into the understanding of Jesus' teaching again, he said, God is spirit, and that is in John 4, verse 24. Right? He's again just clarifying that God is a spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and in truth. He's saying that clear your heart. Get into the spirit of forgiveness, get into the spirit of acceptance, get into the spirit of love. Raise your frequency and your vibration, right? And experience the infinity, the, the formless essence that is the source of life, right? And when he's using the word Father, all right, he's talking about the Spirit, this universal source, this divinity, this pure consciousness, right, which is the essence of what we need to connect with. All right. So the Spirit, Jesus may call it Father, points to this understanding of this divinity, which is not external at all. It is internal and it's infinite and it's dwelling within each and every one of us, right? So you can understand when he say, I am the Father of one, we can also say, I and the Father are one. I and Spirit are one. That is the surrender to the Spirit. And the way to do that is to align yourself. And the way to align yourself, it's like a frequency, right? And if you're on this frequency, yeah, you're not aligned with the frequency. You have to raise your frequency and alignment so you are in alignment with the frequency. And then you can say, I am the frequency. most beautiful thing that we have to discover and understand, and the alignment that we have to understand what Jesus was really talking about. And the power of surrendering to the source is just absolutely beautiful, and that's what it means for all of us, is to wake up to the divinity of the essence that flows through all of us. Let us awaken to the divinity within me, within you, and step into the fullness of who we are, love and light.